Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. 2-0 against Sassuolo, first game at home at the Maradona. Sorry I'm late, guys, but I was preparing some stuff because I did a deep dive on Raspadori's game. So I went and analyzed every little thing that he's done because I saw that Raspadori, even though he missed a penalty, even though he maybe wasn't the best on the field, I really was interested by his position on the field, and I wanted to make sure that we analyze that because we don't really know players like Raspadori and Elmas where they could fit into Garcia's tactical plan. So I really wanted to make sure to deep dive on that. So that's coming up for you guys. Speaking of Raspadori, I put a poll, right? And you guys are answering the poll. There's already quite a lot of you. 46 votes, 47. The number keeps going up about who should be our penalty taker because Raspadori missed the penalty, but Osimhen scored one. I encourage you guys to also smash that like button because Napoli has won. So why wouldn't you smash that like button? If Osimhen scores, you got to score as well by smashing that like button. So a lot of you guys are saying that Osimhen should be the one and only penalty taker. I do agree with that as well, guys. I mean, Osimhen is our number 9. It's also frustrating that when you compare him to guys like Haaland or guys like Lewandowski, you can't really compare them accurately because they take penalties and Osimhen doesn't, which is annoying. You always have to say, yeah, they scored more, but that's because they score penalties, and having the but in the sentence is never really nice. So I hope Osimhen just takes charge of that, shows that he can take them. I mean, he's shown that he can take them and delivers. All right. Let's look at some comments, yeah? Let's look at some comments. I'm going to grab some water, and you guys keep smashing that like button. All right. So, before we get to analyze this video, let's see what you guys say. Next game, we are home against Lazio, by the way. That was one of the questions that was asked. Imagine saying we just won the Saudi Arabia Cup and be proud. That's pretty funny. Yeah, let's not worry about Saudi Arabia anymore. I mean, no, we do have to worry about Saudi Arabia and them potentially getting our players. Because that's always a possibility. But let's not talk about the whole Gabri Vega thing in this video. There will be maybe a chance to talk about it in a video dedicated specifically to the transfer market. So hold your thoughts on Gabri Vega. Let's see. This team is really evolving, says Felix. What a game from Napoli. And they said they're waiting for me to go live. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was proper late, a good 20 minutes late. I know. Maximus says we already know Napoli will get a tough group. Speaking of the Champions League, yeah, guys, there's potentially some very tough teams out there. I mean, there's Newcastle in the 4th pot of the Champions League. That could be tough. Kvara looked really good, says Anthony G. Yeah, he looked amazing coming on. That's an incredible turn of events. I thought maybe that they just put him on for a bit of fitness in the last 30 minutes, but no, he looked really good, like really, really good. Anyways, let's go straight into analyzing the show. 4 more likes, guys. There's at 50 likes, I will start analyzing the show. In the meantime, I'll take a look. I'll start analyzing the game. Why do I keep calling it the show? The game. In the meantime, let's just take a look at the stats of the game very, very quickly. With Napoli 25 shots, 67% possession, 90% pass accuracy. I mean, that's when you know that Sassuolo were a man down because Napoli had that extra man in the middle and it was just very easy to find passes. No yellow cards for Napoli, 12 corners. I mean, total domination. But what's interesting, guys, is the leaderboard, right? Because Milan, Napoli, and Verona, of all teams, are the only ones that have a 100% record, whilst we wait for Inter to play against Cagliari. That's not going to be an easy game with Cagliari playing one of their I think it's their first game at home since coming back up. But what does this tell you guys? And I said it in yesterday's short as well, that the Serie A is a competitive league. Other teams are going to be able to drop points against anybody. And the fact that we won against Sassuolo and Frosinone, I mean, it's not a given, right? I mean, who would have thought that Roma would be all the way down there in 14th, right? So, yeah. Anyways, because you guys have been waiting and smashing that like button, let's go and talk about the game. All right, so the game, guys. It started off with the referee initially not giving this penalty to Napoli, which is ridiculous if you think about it. If you think about what we had to go through last week with Cajuste, where he got the ball and there was a follow-through that maybe touched Frosinone's player. I mean, this one was almost going to break Politano's leg, even though there was maybe the Sassuolo player getting a touch of the ball. But, I mean, if we're penalizing follow-throughs, then we got to give this penalty. If you also consider what happened in the Juventus game earlier today, I'm not sure how many of you followed, but that game was ridiculous, the fact that Bologna didn't get a penalty. So anyways, we get a penalty here after the VAR intervenes. And Osimhen slots it home, and I think that's why many of you want him to be our penalty taker. And before I go on with the analysis, let me see what you guys are saying. Georgie says Raspa had a good game, but him as a winger is not good. First half, all the attacks were coming from the right wing or center. That is when... See, we will analyze Raspadori. I'm so excited to talk about Raspadori today, because I think a lot of you guys are going to think that he's had a bad game, and I'm going to tell you why Raspadori hasn't had a bad game. So let's see some more comments. Napoli to win says, do you think Raspadori missed on purpose because it was his old club? Man, hitting the post twice, I don't think you can do that on purpose very, very easily. Byron says he definitely has and is continuing his good pen form from the end of last season, and it was a no-look pen today, cold as ice. Ossi, yes. Hopefully Di Lorenzo and Politano's chemistry remain this good. Yeah, of course it will, of course. Right, well, after Osimhen scored, did you guys see the light show that happened? I mean, what was that about? I almost got an epileptic attack from this. I don't think we should continue this at all. No. And it lasted way too long. It's nice if you flip the switch for, I don't know, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, but it lasted 20 seconds. I was going to actually die. I don't know about you guys. Right. Another chance that we had in the first half was Anguissa's header, completely free. Maybe he could have done better. Anguissa, guys, had a very good game today as well. Now, I want to talk about Raspadori, right? And this is really just focused on him in the first half. Raspadori, guys, he was in a very interesting position because he started, on paper, he's playing left wing, right? But he was never in left wing. You can see when Napoli tried to build the play, actually him, Oliveira, and Zielinski are in each other's position all the time. Oliveira is where you'd expect Raspadori to be. Raspadori is where you'd expect Zielinski to be. And Zielinski is where you would expect Oliveira to be. And they kept changing that always. But in the end of the day, Raspadori was the one that was central most often. I mean, you can see here how even when Napoli are attacking, so that was when we were constructing the play. This is when we are attacking, right? Anguissa's got the ball. We're in the final third. Raspadori doesn't stay wide like Politano. That's not the game that our left winger does. Why? Because we have Oliveira that stays wide, that pushes up. And we've got Raspadori and Di Lorenzo that come down the middle. Why? Because Garcia wants everybody to play to their strength. Politano and Oliveira are guys that like to stay wide. Di Lorenzo, and they're good at crossing. Di Lorenzo and Raspadori, they are guys that like to come down into the center. Now you might be thinking Di Lorenzo. Yes, Di Lorenzo. We talked about it last season, how he's becoming, at times he becomes a number 9 for us. And he makes these central runs into the box. And you can see that he's in that position as well now, no? He's the closest guy to Osimhen, and the guy that I circled is Raspadori, and Raspadori loves to play as a number 10. So what does this mean? That when we attack, we keep Politano and Oliveira wide, we put Di Lorenzo and Raspadori through the middle to play as a number 10, and then Osimhen at the top. And then you've got Anguissa and Zielinski that shield them, and they're the first to recover the ball if needed. So that's very, very interesting. And you can see the moments when Raspadori was most dangerous was when he was making these runs from the central position. When Raspadori hit the post in the 2nd minute of the first half, he hit the post making a run from the center. Guys, it was the front post with a cross coming in from the right. And this is what's on paper our left winger. So in the end, Raspadori, when you see him play, when you see him on the team sheet that he's playing on the left, that's not true. He's playing an attacking mid and a number 10 for us. Again, here, look at him making a run. Zielinski and Oliveira on the left, and Raspadori is making a run from the center, from the number 10 position, and then the ball never gets to him, but this is the run that he makes. When he makes that he makes that shot at the end of the first half, his starting position, when he makes that volley from one of Di Lorenzo's cross, his starting position was still that number 10 roll through the middle, and then he goes to the left and shoots it on the volley and it gets blocked. But Raspadori, guys, is not playing left wing. He is playing as a number 10. Now, defensively, what's very interesting is that he's got a lot to do. And I think part of this was the fact that he knew that Kvara was maybe going to come on and he was going to come off at some point, even though then Kvara came off for Politano. So maybe that's not the reason why. But he defensively put in a very big shift where you've got basically the 3 midfielders, Anguissa, Lobotka, and Zielinski, that are very close to each other, always in a triangle formation, very close to whoever has the ball. And Raspadori and Politano, they have to cover the wide men. That means that you've got Oliveira that's free, almost as a old school sweeper, un libero, no? And that means that he's free to just pick out whoever player is going to be free. And if that means that that's someone that's central, then Oliveira goes and he pushes up centrally. And if he needs to support Juan Jesus, he will support Juan Jesus and stay next to Juan Jesus. So Oliveira, when we defend, becomes this sort of sweeper. And that relies on Politano and Raspadori, or whoever is the winger, to mark whoever is the wide player for the opposition team. So it's a very, I think, different approach to what Spalletti had. I think it's nice, especially because, for example, guys, I don't know if you remember this, but in the game against Milan in the Champions League that we lost, one of the things that I criticized the most of Spalletti was that Kvara was always on the touchline. Like, he never came centrally. And I didn't want to penalize, and I gave Kvara a bad grade, in that game. And people were like, why? He dribbled past 20 million people. Yes. But for me, he should have taken the initiative and overthrown what Spalletti wanted and gone centrally, which is where he was today when he assisted Di Lorenzo, right? And that's what we're seeing now from Garcia. We're seeing that the players that play wide, sometimes they come to the center and they help out as a number 10, because being wide sometimes is not what you need when these defenses are sitting back like this. Sometimes you need someone in the middle with a bit of creativity. Anyways, let me get some comments because I've been rambling a lot. But guys, if you are liking this tactical analysis, then do make sure to smash that like button, guys, because I put in a lot of effort into making this happen for you guys, and I would appreciate that. It makes a big difference for me and the channel. Byron, no, I already took that comment. TT says, apart from the penalty, he wasn't bad. His defensive work was great, which we talked about it. TT says, bro, I thought my monitor was tripping. Yeah, I mean, it was that light show is crazy. Maximus says they do that for college football. Yeah. Anthony G says, 0 chance Cahoust takes Zambo's place. No, there's no way. There's no way he takes his place, but what we saw today was that he can also play that vice Lobotka role, and we can have Cahoust or what, however you say his name, with Anguissa both in the middle. And that gives you a bit more cover, right? Because they both like to recover the ball quite well. And maybe against some of the teams that attack more towards the end of the games, maybe that could be an option for us. Right, let's move on to the second half. And this is effectively when the game was over, because straight red to a Sassuolo player for dissent with the referee. Not once, twice, but 3 times he called the referee something. I can't imagine it was something very nice. On a foul that really... Look, the referee could have given a foul there or not. It wasn't anything... It wasn't a bad tackle. It wasn't anything like crazy. I don't know why the Sassuolo player got mad so much at that occasion. I think he exaggerated. Now, this guy, Maxim Lopez, who got the red card, it was a guy that Napoli was linked to at the start of the summer because he worked with Garcia before in France. And all I will say is that we probably bought this guy and we kept him at Sassuolo, and he's our secret agent inside Sassuolo, and got a red card for Napoli. That's probably what happened, because man, there's no other way why you would lose your mind like that. Like, why would... I don't know. It's so weird to see such a red card for such a stupid foul. It's not like it was a penalty moment or anything like that. Guys, it's really hot today. I'm dying. Right. Another thing that I really liked in today's game is Politano, guys. Politano provided a few good crosses today, both with his right foot and his left foot. And you can see here, he's a bit of a different player compared to previous seasons. Already last season he was doing this, but now he's using his right, going wide, not only just cutting in, and it's causing defenders all sorts of problems. He must be reading those rumors about Lindstrom coming to Napoli instead of Lozano. He's got to fight for his place, because he would have Lindstrom, he would have Raspadori, Elmas. I mean, there's so many guys that want to take that right wing position, but Politano has been key for us in the last 2 games, because he got us a penalty in this game. He scored in the previous game. He might not be the flashiest player, he might not be the best player on the field, but when it comes to who's made a difference in the scoreline, you've got to put Politano as one of the protagonists. And yeah, I mean, and it's always effective now. Like, he puts in some good crosses in dangerous areas. In this situation, it ended with Raspadori taking a shot on the goalkeeper. And Raspadori today, man, he tried so many ways to score. Obviously, later we get the penalty situation where this was, to some extent, a soft penalty. But, I mean, why is the defender jumping like that in the first place? So you've got to give it. And Raspadori hits the crossbar. And, yeah, Raspadori, man, he tried a lot. But, I mean, as we said, I liked his performance. He executed his positional play very well today. And, yeah. Carl Romero says, what were those tactics? I saw lots of walking around and general lack of urgency. I know it will take time for things to click under Garcia, but I saw nothing that made me feel great. That's a strange comment, honestly, because I think we turned up the pace when we needed to. We had a lot of chances. Yes, maybe it wasn't the most entertaining game, but at the same time, when you are playing 11v10, you don't need to go in sixth gear. You can if you can comfortably win the game in second or third gear, then what's the problem, right? And we showed with moments like with Politano or Elmas or Kvara or Osimhen, when we wanted to increase the tempo, we would. And at some point, guys, in the second half, we were playing with them. Like Anguissa was doing step overs, Kvara as well. Like, guys, we were in complete control. So I disagree with that comment, to be honest. That was in the comments in the chat. Maximus says, Dom, please don't forget to wait a couple of seconds before you start talking because of the ads. Ah, okay. Well, that's good to know, guys, because I don't actually put the ads in myself. It's just YouTube that puts them in. To be honest, I think I'll just get rid of them maybe next time, or I don't know. I'll try. Okay, but cool. I'll remember that. Kevin Kepes says, what do you think will change with Lindstrom? Honestly, man, if it means that Lozano leaves this team, it's already a plus. Like, I'm sorry, but Lozano has had so many years to prove that he's good enough, and he just isn't. Like, he's not evolved his game at all compared to, like, take Lozano in his first year at Napoli and take him last year. What has actually changed? Yeah, I mean, we moved his position around, but did he improve as a player? Maybe his defensive work a little bit, but that's normal playing in the Italian league. You could say that about any player. Whereas, for example, take Politano. Politano, since he's come here, he's improved his right foot. He's a bit more unpredictable. Lozano just hasn't improved as a player. Didn't work on his left foot. Didn't work on his touch. He's got the same exact weaknesses as he had when he first came to Napoli. So when we get a new player like Lindstrom, he might at the moment be at the similar level as Lozano, but he's got a potential, because of his age as well, to improve. Something that Lozano just doesn't have. I don't think Lozano can improve at the moment. So that's what I think Lindstrom brings. I think he brings more potential than Lozano. And guys, Kvara came on, and after 2 seconds, after 2 minutes, he made this assist for Di Lorenzo. And the ball came from Anguissa. He turned on himself like a fidget spinner and then passed it on to Di Lorenzo. And what you will notice here, guys, is that, again, Kvara was supposed to play left wing. And instead, where is he? He's in that number 10 position. And where's Di Lorenzo? Also playing in this advanced freestyle position. Oh, and this is something that I'm starting to notice with Garcia, is that he likes to actually concentrate the play centrally. It's more compact. It's more about these short passes into the space. These 1-2s, whereas maybe with Spalletti we were a bit more open, and I think this really emphasizes the extra skill and quality that we have, this ability to play in tight spaces, to dribble past players. I like it, guys. I mean, I'm starting to really like Garcia ball, and then obviously Di Lorenzo, he's improved massively. He's taken this goal. He's starting to have really good numbers for right back. I mean, to the level of the best out there. His assists, his goals. I mean, we are talking now 2 assists and 1 goal already in 3 games for Di Lorenzo. If that doesn't scream best right back in Europe at the moment, then I don't know what will. He could have even passed it to Osimhen here, but I mean, I think he deserves a goal. And Osimhen, guys, speaking of him, he had a few chances in the second half. I took in this as one of the examples, but he had a free header early in the second half. He had a shot that he took where he hesitated to take a shot. He pulled it back, then he shot again. Then this header that Consigli saved. He was, I don't know if wasteful, but maybe he could have had one more. Maybe an Osimhen on his very best day would have maybe scored one of these. I don't think today was his best day. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't his best. Right. So we've covered that. Let me go to some of the comments before we move on. Carl says, to clarify, because I want to give people a second chance here. Carl says, to clarify my earlier comment, I meant that given the situation, I was hoping to see us impose more, especially in the first half. I saw large gaps between lines and seemingly a lack of sharpness, but super happy with the points in second half. I don't know, maybe. I mean, I think it's one of those where we didn't need to, right? Like, I feel like Sassuolo was never going to bother us by how the game started and how it unfolded. And yeah, we hit the post in the second minute of the game. So I don't know how we couldn't have started any better, and we couldn't have been more on the front foot than hitting the post in the second minute. I guess we could have scored, but I don't see that, honestly. I see that we were a team that went and tried to, from the very start, score, and even when we were 1-0 up and with them being with 10 men, we still kept applying the pressure. We still tried to recover the ball when we were 2-0 up and they had one less person. So yeah, I saw a good team, to be honest. Paul says he was only good under Gattuso. Yeah, because Gattuso kept shouting Chucky, Chucky, and probably would have, I don't know, beat him up if Chucky didn't run his socks off. Because, man, I wouldn't want to mess with Gattuso. But you can't have a player who plays well just when his life is in danger, all right? You can't just have a Gattuso on the sidelines threatening your life for you to play well. Matthias Bifani says, I like the directness of the long balls and diagonal crosses. Shakes things up. That's true. That's another good point. That's something that Nathan is very good at, that we haven't seen him play, obviously. So he's a bit of a mystery for us at the moment. But when you look at his highlights for Bragantino, and we made a video about it, one of the key things that he has is this direct play, these cross-field passes, and it seems like Garcia wants to utilize that. So I'm sure Nathan will have a chance there. Mask said, Lindstrom is a crazy fast dribbler. It's like having another Kvara. Politano is a good player, though. Man, I hope. I mean, I remember him from the game we had against Eintracht Frankfurt. He was very difficult to deal with. I don't think he's got that raw talent of Kvara, but I would compare him more to a Politano in the sense that he can dribble, he can cross, he can score, but I don't think he's world class yet. You know, he's got elements, but he's got to refine it. But age is on his side. He's not super young, but he's not old either. Right, now I want to tell you guys my player ratings, and then we'll go and see what Garcia says. Okay, so my player ratings, I've given the midfield and Osimhen and Kvara 7.5. The midfield absolutely dominated Sassuolo. They played extremely well. They recovered so many balls. They made great runs, great passes, great flair from Zielinski, from Anguissa, and then Osimhen. He scored the penalty. Yes, we said it wasn't his best day with his finishing, but he was there. He was a problem for the defense. And Kvara came on, and those 30 minutes really lit up the show. But the best player for me has to be Di Lorenzo, because he was absolutely everywhere. He could have had an assist today, but Raspadori hit the post in the first half. No problem. He goes and grabs a goal for himself in the second half. He plays in literally every position. You see him scoring. You see him recovering the ball. Just a brilliant piece of play, and there's no flops of the match. I know Raspadori screwed up a penalty, but he still had a good game. And so did Politano. And I want to welcome and thank Vincenzo Bertillo for the $13.99 donation. Thank you, man, for supporting the channel. Says, hey, Dom, just got back to hotel from the game. What an emotional experience. Zielu effortlessly creative, and Zambo looked like he playing with kids. Jesus, classy passing as well, underrated. I fully agree with that, guys. I mean, Zielu, the way he moves, it's like he's walking on water. Zambo, he's just got this thing, man, where it seems like every 3 steps that the opposition takes, he only needs 1, and he can just cover the space so well. There's elements of that with Cajuste as well. Like you've seen at the end when Cajuste came on, or Cajuste, he was also quite good at recovering some balls. And, you know, last week was probably very unlucky for him, but he seems like a good addition to the team. And Juan Jesus, guys, he stepped it up in these past 2 games. He's not put a foot wrong. I didn't give the defense that high of a grade, just because they didn't have much defensive work to do, to be honest. But, I mean, it's also their merit, right? They stop the danger before it happens. And yeah, their passing has been quite good. They haven't thrown the ball away. They've been calm, collected, composed. Honestly, yeah, I liked it. I liked it, guys. A bit strange, honestly, putting Ostigard in at the end. I'm not sure what that was about, giving him 3 minutes. But hey, it is what it is. In the end, it's 2-0 Napoli, 7-2 Garcia. Obviously, not that difficult of a game once it was 11v10, but I liked what I saw, the tactical nuances that he brought to the team. I do now want to go over the leaderboard of the Napoli Predictor game, guys. A lot of you are playing this game, which is nice to see. I've got the top 10 for the week, the top 10 for the month, and the top 10 for the season. Obviously, the top 10 for the month and the season is going to be the same thing right now because, well, we're only in the second game of the season and we're still in August. But the winner of the month is Daniel Nervosa with -2 points. I mean, this is so funny because you get a -1 point for every wrong answer. So basically, Daniel's the guy who answered the least wrong amount of times in these past 2 games. But he's won, which means that Daniel, if you're watching this, you're invited to come on the show. That was part of the prize for the monthly winner. So you're invited on the show. Reach out to me or I will reach out to you. Either way, that'll happen and we'll make a video together. So guys, if you want to play, link is in the comments. Read the instructions and play. And next month is a new month, or next game is a new month. So you get a chance to do well. Right, let's go to what Garcia had to say, right? Because I think that's going to be very, very interesting. But let me read some of the comments before. Gurkan029 says, I know you said in your last transfer video I think Elmas should be a starter, but I don't feel like he has the sharpness, like he's a little behind the other players in the team. I agree with you. I don't think Elmas has quite come into form yet. I think he's a bit behind. But I also think that, look, at the start of the season, guys like Raspadori and Politano will be a bit sharper just because of their size. The smaller guys tend to get into shape more. However, I mean, when you see guys like Anguissa being in that kind of form, then you start to wonder whether you know anything about science anymore. But in theory, the smaller guys need less time to get into form. Elmas is not that big of a guy, actually, so he shouldn't have a problem either. So, I don't know. I was trying to make an excuse for him, but I don't have one. He's probably lacking a bit of confidence, actually. It must be tough for him to be in his, 4th season with us now? Maybe more? and still not able to find a place in this team. But the season is long. The hierarchies will change. There will be, unfortunately, players that get a bit more tired or injured, and Elmas will have his opportunity, guys. Shmuel said, hey, I got both the 2-0 and Osimhen first goal on the game at least. Yeah, I mean, let me see what you put. Yeah, but you don't appear in the top 10. Look, I'll tell you how many points you got. 1 second, guys. I'm doing this because Shmuel M has been an OG of the channel for a few years now, so I'll take 2 seconds out of the video to tell him how he did. I need to open up my Excel, guys. So, where are you? Oh no, there you are. You're number 10. I don't know why I didn't see you. You're number 10, yeah, but you basically got you got 1 point for Osimhen. No, man, you put... Oh, man. Bro, you put 2-0. Oh, there's a mistake here. Guys, there's a mistake. Hold up. Guys, time out. There's a mistake. There's a mistake in this. I'm going to have to update you guys. I'm deleting that. Daniel, you're going to have to wait. Plot twist. Ooh, okay. I will have to make a short to update this because actually, yeah, there's a mistake. All right, let's move on from that. Let's move on. See, I'm getting things sorted out. That's why I want to move to a better platform than Google Forms. But yeah, let's go to what Garcia said, guys. Oof, it's really hot here. Sorry about that, guys. Anyways, let's go to what Garcia said. So Garcia says, that the day was the night was very positive. The objective was to win, but we are not yet at the best physically. Some players like Kvara, we have to still manage them a little bit. It was the first game for Anguissa for the full 90 minutes, and it's very hot. Yeah, guys, it is hot here in Europe. We played well when it was 11 versus 11. I'm very upset for my ex-player Lopez for the red card. It seems like he speaks very good Italian now. The only negative thing about today is that we don't hit the target very much, only 20% of our shots. A bit of unluckiness with Jack Raspadori at the start, but then a lot of shots that were off target. So guys, Garcia is being very picky about certain things. I like it. Yeah, he says about Di Lorenzo, he jokes about it and he says, he probably heard one of my interviews where I said that I like my captains to be strikers. And Di Lorenzo probably heard that, and that's why he scored today. He's a very important player for us. On the right side, he does some great things. He's able to defend and attack with quality. They said that he says that the fans were great, the players are great. About Gabri Veiga, he says, I'm only speaking about my players and not those of others. Maybe he could have said a bit more. I mean, it's public knowledge now that Napoli lost out to Gabri Veiga. I don't think it's anything wrong. It's not like he's gonna mess up a deal, right? I mean, it's already gone. About Oliveira, he says, look, I have the opportunity and the luck to have two very good left backs. Mario was a little bit injured during the preseason, and so it's normal to start Oliveira at the start of the season. Mario did play some minutes against Frosinone. He will get his moment. They're two very excellent players. that have some similarities, but also a lot of differences. I will need both. Anguissa, he started his career with me at Marseille. He was young. He grew so much. He's such a leader in this team. I'm so happy to have him again with me. He can take a lot of responsibility. And Nathan, instead, he has to learn the language. He has to learn Italian football, and he has to learn how Napoli plays. We will make him grow a lot. He's a very important acquisition for us. He's getting warmed up. He's less shy than at the start. So that's a key point, guys, about being shy. When you are a defender, you've got to be ruthless. You got to be brutal. You got to tell people where they need to position themselves. Kim, when he first arrived, he didn't have a problem with that. I mean, guys, Kim, did you see him? He's got a huge tattoo here that says Carpe Diem and this thing on his back. And you know, he on his first day, he introduced himself singing songs, and he has personality is what I'm trying to say. No, he's not afraid of anything, whereas maybe Nathan needs a bit of time, and when he becomes less shy, maybe that's when he will start playing. Victor and Cholito Simeone instead, it's possible to have them play together today, also because it was 10v11. It will also be possible in the future when we need to recover the game. So yeah, that's a hint that Garcia says, look, when we're going to be a goal down, I'm going to play Osimhen and Simeone, which is not something that, for example, Spalletti did much. A lot of the games, actually, we brought on Simeone for Victor Osimhen, and he managed to score, for example, against Roma. But very rarely did we have both of them up top. Victor today, he did a great penalty, and he was the one that allowed Raspadori to take the penalty, and that was a very nice move by him. I really like Raspadori. He can play a lot of different positions. He can defend, he can run, he helps the team. He's a bit unlucky at the moment, but I'm happy about his game. And missing a penalty happens to everyone. Let's see what else he's had to say about some other people. About Juan Jesus, he says, Nathan needs a bit more time. Between Juan Jesus and Ostigard, I chose the more experienced player. He's a leader of this team. And Kvara today, he did very well, but during preseason he missed 12 days of training. So it's obvious that he needs a bit of time. He says, look at this, guys. He says, Raspadori is not someone that can remain wide. He has to go down the center and attack the area with Osimhen. Even Kvara has to give his right back some doubts. He has to call the ball into the space, come in between the lines. That way he becomes more unpredictable tactically. Guys, this is what I was saying last season that we needed to do more in the game against Milan, the game that defined why we were not in that Champions League semi-final. We were way too predictable, and I'm glad that Garcia thinks the same way that I think. So far, I'm liking Garcia, guys. I don't know about you, but I feel like he understands this team. And about the Scudetto, guys, he says, I told the players one day that you will be tired. Look down and remember that you have the Scudetto on your shirt. It's an honor, and it's going to give you that motivation to defend better, to work harder. And that's exactly what we did in the first two games, because it wasn't always easy. So he's a great motivator as well. Biagio Greco says, my English is not as good as yours. I'm sure listening to you will improve my English. Thanks to you live, I can combine my football passion and my desire to improve English. Yeah, I mean, that's hopefully one of the things that that people can do with this channel is combine a bit of English lessons with football. I think that's awesome. And yeah, I went on the show with, maybe for those that follow other Italian YouTubers, there's Azzurro Fluido or Valerio Fluido. I went on a show once and we talked about it. We said, because he's got an Italian fan base, and we said, hey guys, if you want to improve your English, you can come to Napoli Talk, because we can make a 1 hour English lesson more interesting, because it's going to be about Napoli. And yeah, Raspadori, guys, his work rate, I mean, we talked about it, no? That he defends and everything. It's quite good. It's quite good. Byron says, Nathan is meant to be a Kim replacement. ADL, please sign a senior center back. That's true. We still do need a center back, guys, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Honestly, I can't see it happening. Anyways, guys, so what is left to do? To look at the next game, Napoli Lazio, okay, and then there's a break, and then 2 away games that are not easy, because Genoa is not an easy stadium. Il Marassi is difficult. Going to Bologna, not easy. I'm going to try to go to the Bologna game, by the way. Life update. I will be living in Italy, in Milan, for the next 3 months, until Christmas. I'll be moving away from Spain. I'll be going to Milan for 4 months. So maybe I can watch some Napoli games from closer. I'm going to be at the Lazio game. I'm going to be at the Maradona. I'm going to go home for the weekend. I'm going to watch Napoli-Lazio. And then maybe, yeah, I'll follow Napoli around. Hopefully, I'll get to see this Bologna-Napoli game. I really want to go to see Bologna, actually. I haven't been there before. So, yeah. But super important game, Napoli-Lazio, because at the same time, you have Roma-Milan. So, well, I don't know if it's at the same time, but in the same weekend, you have Roma-Milan. So that is going to be a very, very juicy weekend of football at the top of the Serie A. Well, Lazio's not anywhere near the top at the moment, but you know what I mean, between the top teams. Right. Biagio says he follows Valerio Fluido. He's great. Yeah, we made a video together now 2 years ago when Gattuso was around. He's great because he does videos in Italian every day, which is great. I mean, I wish I could do that, but unfortunately my time commitments don't allow me. Sinistro 2X says, I'm also moving to Italy till after Christmas. Roma though, going to Napoli Milan. Yeah, hopefully I get to go to the Maradona as well, man. Napoli Milan would be great. I think that's gonna be a great game, the Napoli Milan this season. Milan look so good. I think next week I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna try to make a video on my predictions for the year and like a summary of the mercato and kind of Napoli's how we did in this mercato, obviously when it closes, but in the prediction of the year, I think a lot of it is gonna focus around the moves that Milan's done, because honestly, guys, they seem like the most dangerous team for us at the moment. Biagio, io sono di Napoli, so yeah, but I live abroad, so yeah. Let's see, any more comments? Napoli to win says prime Cavani prime or Osimhen. Let me put that as a poll. So okay, a lot of you said you want Osimhen to be the goal scorer. Let's start a poll. Cavani or Osimhen? Best striker. Let's go. Or let me add another one. Let me add Higuain. Let's see what you guys say. All right, who's the best striker, guys? Let's get a quick poll. vote right now. Best striker between Cavani, Osimhen, and Higuain. Someone voted for Higuain. Oh no, he changed his mind. Oh no. Oh, some people are voting for Higuain, you know? Damn. There's a lot of votes coming in. I think Osimhen might win this. That's interesting. Simo 1926 Napoli says, it was a good game, not perfect surely, but I was heavily satisfied throughout the match. Quality football for most of the time. Yeah, I agree. I mean, there was some really nice moments, guys. I mean, even when Kvara came on, he showed us some very nice technical things in the game. And for me, I just really enjoyed, like, if we go back to, maybe some of you guys missed it, right? But if we go back to this Raspadori performance down the middle and his movements and his defensive work, like, I really enjoyed just in my head, just like watching that, no? And yeah, following what he did over there. I think it was pretty cool. Anyways, guys, 10 seconds for the voting. So cast your votes. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I am closing the voting right now. And the winner of who is the best striker is... The winner is Osimhen with 63%, guys. 63% for Osimhen. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Cavani, honestly. I know there's a lot of you that love Osimhen. I know, but for me, Cavani, what he had was that he had, I don't know what it was, maybe more I don't know if more desire, because Osimhen has a lot of desire. I don't know, I guess you always tend to prefer the guy that you grew up with more, no? And I guess I was younger when Cavani was around, so he was, I don't know, the first real good number 9 that I think we had, right? Because, I mean, before we had Quagliarella for 1 year. Before that, we had guys like Dennis and all that. But, I mean, they weren't the level of Cavani, right? Cavani was like the first guy that you were like, man, we're going to win the title with him, you know? I don't know. Also, he has scored more goals per season than Osimhen. But he did take penalties. That's, again, why doesn't Osimhen take penalties? And now it's not easy to make these kind of comparisons. And, like, I don't know, man. Like, Cavani had these moments. Like, I remember the game against Dnipro where he scored 4 goals in a European night. I mean, it was incredible what he could do sometimes. When he turned it on, man. And obviously Osimhen can do the same, but I don't know, guys. I don't know. That goal against Lecce, guys, you know what I'm talking about. That was nice. Yeah, Kevin says, am I the only one that thinks Osimhen loses too many balls and has a bad first touch? I don't think his first touch is amazing, but he has improved it a lot. And what is really good with him is that he's got such long legs that even if the ball is a little bit further away, he's able to kind of touch it again before the opposition manages to get a foot. And so, yeah, maybe it takes him a while to really get full control over the ball. But it's actually hard for someone to take it off from him, if that makes sense, no? So, yeah. Yeah, Cavani for me too. He had everything as a striker, was ahead of his time, just a modern forward all round. Also remember that he played in a much weaker team than Ossi. That's true. He did have very good service though with Lavezzi and Hamsik. Did Cavani ever win Capocannoniere? Says Hafiz Yusuf. I can't remember if he did or not. But, I mean, he did have seasons where he scored like 30 plus goals. So, I mean, guys, in 3 seasons for us, he scored 105 goals. That's an average of like 35 a season. That's a lot. 35 goals a season. That's more than what Osimhen's done in 3 years. So, yeah. But hard to compare because of penalties, because of injuries. Yeah, it's tough. I think this is one of those where there's no clear winner. Like, it just depends on, I don't know, preference, really. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up because it's late and it's hot. But, yeah, it's a very nice debate. Maybe I will get a chance to make a video about this whole Cavani versus Osimhen, and I'll drop a Higuain in there, and really try to see like who was the better striker, both from the numbers point of view, maybe also like who scored the most clutch goals. See, that's where I think Cavani is different. Cavani scored 3 against Juventus. Cavani scored in the big games more than Osimhen. Osimhen only started scoring in big games last season when he scored, for example, the 2 against Roma. But Osimhen hasn't had like a crazy good game against Juventus, for example, or yes, he scored against Juventus in the game that we won 5-1, but he didn't. Man, Cavani scored a hat trick against Juventus. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, yeah. And also, yeah, with the shots outside of the box, Ossi doesn't have that in his locker. I think the one thing that Ossi is really missing is shots outside the area, which is something that Cavani has, obviously. Cavani scored a few free kicks, shots outside the area. I think Cavani was more complete, to be honest. Yeah. Anyways, I hope I don't make people too upset with that opinion. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about 2 very great Napoli legends. I mean, I've got Cavani over there. This is Cavani right there on the wall in the book. Anyways, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Do sign up for the Napoli Predictor. I will make sure that those scores are updated. There was a mistake. I'll tell you what the mistake was. It was accidentally I put in the wrong scoreline for the game. I manually inputted the wrong scoreline, so then I gave points to the wrong people. But I will fix that, and I'll make a short tomorrow about it. All right. Anyways, as always, Forza Napoli sempre. Have a good one, guys. Ciao.